What's up? Welcome to another market recap. Today is September 8th, 2025. So I did not make a video yesterday. I did trade. I took one trade on Euro Yen, which I'll get into. I had a Swiss group, I had a Kiwi group, and I had an Aussie group. The Swiss group, the main trade I was looking for was this Euro Swiss, kind of like a wave 3 CBO, but it never fully pulled back to the point of entry. Like it kind of just tapped it and reversed. So it's really hard to take a trade like this for me because I'm waiting to see more of like micro time frame kind of deceleration and breakdown. And I needed to push at least a little bit into the 0.382 area between 0.32 and 0.5. So no real entry for this was for me, but it was the first that was closest to a potential entry. And then another really nice trade that did present an entry was this Swiss Huff. It's a wave 3 IBO. So same kind of concept, but spread wise, I can never really get into this trade. The spreads didn't calm down in time for me to get into it since it is an exotic group, an exotic pair rather. So, but these were the two nicest out of the Swiss, but all the Swiss trades really played out. And then Kiwi wise, I liked Kiwi CAD the most, but it never fully pulled back to value. But Kiwi dollar did, and it was a decent trade as well as CBO. And then Aussie Kiwi, I think also presented an entry. It was an IBO, but I wasn't able to get into this trade due to spreads. I don't know what's happened recently with my broker, but spreads on Aussie Kiwi have been kind of astronomical lately. The only one of these groups so far that I could have potentially taken was this Kiwi dollar, based off of like this 30-second price action. Like you have this, double bottom, a nice kind of break of the EMA. I think that's a pretty valid entry at this point. It's decent deceleration for a micro time frame. It's holding the 0.382 pivot area, and you're still protected with your stop below the EMAs. The negative with the trade is that it did have a rejection already of the 4-hour 200, but you still had some room on your daily to move to the daily 50. So minus that 4-hour rejection, the rest of the price action looked pretty solid because it's technically like a 4-hour IBO, a 1-hour CBO, and then I was waiting for, if it would have pulled back to like the 10-minute 200, it would have been a nice kind of 10-minute ACB. So all three kind of time frames aligning, which I love to see. And in hindsight, I probably should have taken this trade since it was on my main watch for the evening. But I was sitting in front of the charts and I was looking at all the yen pairs because they gapped up pretty astronomically over the weekend. So when markets opened, there was a rather large gap up. And I found this Euro Yen. And this is a strategy that I have been watching and playing with for a little while now. And I am starting to implement it and trade it. And it's I call it like an MBO, so like a micro breakout play. And what I'm looking for primarily to take these are some kind of like strong support and resistance. So I had that on a daily time frame, right? Like I have a rejection of this level, I have a retest of this level, and now we're hitting this level again, and we're at pretty much all-time highs on a daily time frame, right? So there's a pretty good possibility that you'll get a rejection of this point. Now that rejection may not be something crazy, hence why these are like tight, small moves. Currently I'm prioritizing taking these as just like one-to-one trades. So that's how I had this positioned, was a one-to-one. I think I could have made a couple of differences. I mismanaged this trade, just to be frank. I liked my entry. They had this kind of gap up, and then you had a rising wedge. So you have a bearish, reversal pattern, and just enter on a break of that pattern on a 30-second time frame. And where I mismanaged this was I exited prematurely. So I exited before my 1 hour target would have been hit based off of a 5-second time frame. I was watching price action on the 5-second, and I was a little too zoomed in, and I was watching it kind of pop up. Right? If we go to this kind of screen, I was watching this trend right here on a 5-second. And then I saw this pop up right here, and I exited, right? Granted, in hindsight, it's the wrong decision. And in reality, it's the wrong decision anyways. I think if I'm going to take a 1-to-1 trade, I have to either let the trade play out for a 1-to-1 or exit for a break even. If I'm constantly exiting trades early, like I did on this one, then I'm just leaving profit on the table probably. But it's something I'll continue to track and put in my journal and see how things go. But this is a new strategy that I'm starting to play with. Basically, it's an adaptation of a swing trading strategy that I learned a long time ago that I'm just executing like 2 levels lower. So it just requires some kind of strong support and resistance on your daily time frame, and price hitting that level and then forming some sort of pattern, be it a triangle or a wedge or something of that nature, or a flag, and then trading the break of that pattern with a stop above the pattern, above or below on the opposite side of the pattern, essentially. So, and then with a safe aggressive target before the 10-minute 50 if possible. So yeah, it's kind of my thought process here and what I'm looking for. I think I could have gone the tighter position. This is a 30 pip position. I think if I would have changed it to say a 20 pip position, it obviously hits the 1R way sooner at that point. And you're still above the highs, so you're still protected if price wants to retrace and go retest the highs again. If it breaks back above it, I mean, you're probably out if you have 20 pips or 30 pips, I imagine, unless you get a false break. So, but that 20 pip position size would have allowed for 4-to-1 on this to the recent lows. So I think the correct way for me to take in this trade was to take a 20 pip position, size it for 2-to-1 to the lows, and then manage it based off of this 30, I think it was 30-second time frame, because it just held. Yeah, it just held the EMA the whole time. So if I would have position sized it like this, and then for a 2-to-1, I would have had 2R on this instead of 0.59R. So either way, profit's still profit. And interesting trading a new strategy. But I noticed that these occur primarily after like high impact news events. It's kind of how I found them, and how I've been paying attention to them and how I kind of plan on utilizing them is either like when market has a large gap over a weekend and you get these like huge, candlesticks, or you have like high impact news like we did Friday. Friday, there was 2 or 3 different MBOs that were all able to be taken for 2R plus. And it's the price breaks out in a direction due to news. You wait for price to basically decelerate within the pattern, and then it be a reversal pattern, and then trade the break of the pattern, essentially. So, but yeah, the time I was looking to enter this, there's the same time that Kiwi CAD was giving an entry. So the benefit to this trade, Euro Yen, is I wasn't having to trade a 4 hour that had already rejected an EMA. And I know that as I've been paying attention to this kind of price action, these MBOs have a pretty high probability of playing out. So I felt more comfortable taking this trade than I did Kiwi dollar. But if Euro Yen wasn't present, I would have taken Kiwi dollar all day. And this trade would have been pretty simple from a management standpoint. I mean, you would have gone to P1 on the break and then just been chilling. When price kind of pushed up again, you'd probably clip that low for P2, locking in 0.4, 0.5 R, and then you just hold the 2-minute trend all the way up. So either way, that's my session. I'm going to go build my watch list for the upcoming session. I'll catch you guys here in a minute. All right, and we're back. So I have really one main day trade group, which is this Kiwi group, right? I still have Aussie Kiwi on here, even though I don't think I can trade it just due to spreads, but I'll see what happens today on it. I mean, yesterday you had an IBO. Today you essentially have a CBO. So wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, right? I just wish the breakdown on the 4 hour time frame was a little better. If you really count this all as like one wave on a 4 hour time frame, then the pullback is going to be probably more substantial, is the negative I see here. And it could retest up to like this kind of level, the previous high over here. So like a left shoulder potentially forms a right shoulder and then reverses. I could see it doing something like that. So I'll watch it, see what happens. Price action wise, I think I like Euro Kiwi a little bit better. It's essentially a 4 hour IBO, a 1 hour CBO, and a 10-minute ACB. So I have this position size as a 10-minute ACB, so a 2-to-1 to the lows rather than a 1-to-1 for like a 38 pip position. So from a day trade perspective, I think this Euro Kiwi is probably the nicest option for the day. I mean, you have a pretty overextended run. You have a higher low already. You have a decent, bearish candle here. Could kind of break a trend on your 4 hour and your 1 hour, clear lower low on both, coming back for a retest and a follow through. So I think it's worth a shot. Yeah. The only thing you could possibly say is it might be like a 4 hour ACB. This is the only thing that kind of feels a little trappy about it. But I think everything else is there to give it a shot. From a day trade perspective, there's not really that many options today. So this is really the main one. This dollar group I have flagged up here, though, again, fits this theme of these MBOs I'm starting to pay attention to. And it's more so, it's like this dollar Swiss, right? Like you look at your daily level, you have this level that's been respected previously. Like you have it here, and you technically could draw it even lower if you want to draw it at the extremes. But you do have a level that's been respected on your 1 hour and 4 hour pretty nicely in the past. So coming back for a potential third retest of that level, third or fourth. So I'll be watching this to see how price action develops, look at a micro time frame, see if there's a pattern there that I can trade the break of. And that's really the kind of concept I have for all of these dollar pairs, like this Kiwi dollar. You have this level that's been respected here on your 4 hour all along. Well, let's blow this up. You guys can't see that. It's been respected here on your 4 hour, here on your 4 hour, there's your on your 4 hour, right? It's also been respected in this area. So it's decent. It's not the best level in the world. It's not like it hits you clear in the face. Like if you were sitting at extremes, and I would prefer this level to line up with like EMAs, which it doesn't. But it's currently forming this like ascending triangle pattern. So depending on how price develops in here, and if it just starts to squeeze within this pattern and then we get a break of it to the downside, I think it's an option to take it as an MBO. Right now, if we got a break, I don't think it's a good trade just because I don't like this position sizing. But if it kind of pushed to the corner over here and I could get a break, something like that, I'd feel a lot better about it with taking it to these kind of previous highs right here would be the main kind of target. And you could position size a 2-to-1 to that pretty easily at like an 11 pip position. So this is more so how I would like to trade this pattern. So we'll just see how it develops. But all these kind of dollar pairs are at similar levels, kind of starting to form patterns, but they're not ready yet. But they might be later in the session, later in the day. And this yen group, same kind of concept, right? Like I traded euro yen last night on this kind of touch of the previous high. These are all-time highs for this pair. I mean, it's in that all-time high area. It's not the all-time highs, but I mean, it's up there. So I'm curious to see what happens if price pushes up here and retests this level again. If we get like a double top and another kind of reversal pattern on your micro time frames, I would entertain taking another short on this. And that's kind of the same concept with all of these yens. Right, like they're all sitting at some pretty extreme levels, like the Swiss yen especially. Like these are our all-time highs on Swiss yen. So just kind of sitting here waiting to see if anything forms and whatnot. And then on Development Watch, still watching dollar huff as I've been for weeks. I mean, price did break below this level finally that had been holding pretty nicely. But now it almost looks like it's forming a double bottom here on your 4-hour and your 1-hour. And I could see price pushing up. And if we got a push up in price and then a follow through and a retest, you essentially would get an inverse head and shoulders, like your left side over here. This would be your head. If we get a break up and a retest, that would be your right shoulder. And then you could trade that pattern. So still watching it, see what happens. Euro dollar. Similar, just kind of waiting for a breakdown on this. I don't love the level, so I didn't put it with the rest of the dollar pairs. So if the dollar pairs all push up, this will push euro dollar to its recent highs, right? So put it at this level up here, which would be an interesting to take a short from. So just watching it. And then euro CAD waiting for a breakdown. Pound CAD, waiting for a breakdown at this point, and then Euro Pound waiting for a breakdown. So, yeah, that's all I got. So I will catch you guys tomorrow. See you.